Today I am traveling in first class on France's Superfast TGV DUPLEX. France was the first country in Europe to build high-speed trains, and they have the second largest network on the continent just behind Spain. Join me as I review the TGV's hard product, its onboard service and the overall experience. The journey will take us from my hometown of Luxembourg City to Strasbourg, France. Good morning from the beautiful capital of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, the place where I grew up. We have a very early start today as I am booked on the 7:24 AM TGV to Strasbourg. Luxembourg Central Station was built in 1859 and stands out with its Baroque revival facade. It is well connected to the rest of the city by bus, tram and cycling lanes. By the way, Luxembourg is the only country in the world where all public transportation is free. Pretty sweet. Trains are included, but obviously not international routes. The train station is relatively small and caters mostly to local trains, operated by Luxembourg's national railway company, the CFL. Those connect various towns and small cities all over Luxembourg. Due to the country's small size, the longest journey within Luxembourg is about 1 hour. The station has a few shops and a bakery, but the options are limited. There are also international routes to Belgium, France and Germany. Only 2 high-speed lines pass through Luxembourg, and both are French TGV trains, including the one I'm about to take. Before long, it was time to head to the platform. And here we are, the TGV Inouï 9877, traveling between Luxembourg City and Marseille in the south of France. As I mentioned in the intro, France has an extensive high-speed rail network that stretches out into Spain, Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Switzerland and Italy. This train stops in no fewer than 12 cities between Luxembourg and Marseille, explaining why it needs 7.5 hours to cover the total distance of about 820 kilometers. The TGV, standing for Train à grande vitesse or high-speed train in English, travels at blistering pace, but the first hour of the journey doesn't have high-speed tracks, meaning that we'll only pick up speed after the city of Metz. Now let's get to the train itself. This is a TGV 2N2, also called TGV Euroduplex. Built by French manufacturer Alstom, it has a top speed of 320 km an hour. These trains have been in service since 2011 and they have 10 cars with over 500 seats. Now, I would love to know, what do you think about this design? I mean, there is nothing wrong with it, but I just found the older design way more aggressive and exciting. But I guess it's just personal preference. Anyways, let's get on board, shall we? I am in first class coach 11 today, which is located at the back of the train. Every carriage has 2 floors, with the lower floor seats usually costing a bit less. And this is the TGV first class interior, set up in a 1+2 configuration. I should mention that these are the old seats, explaining why they look so retro. Newer TGV interiors look like this. The seats might seem a bit dated, but my word are they comfortable. They are also much wider than most European train seats and the legroom is fantastic. The recline is also great, so you could easily sleep in them. There is a power plug as well as a massive tray table, but no USB port. The Wi-Fi was working, but too slow to do pretty much anything. Not satisfactory compared to other European trains. But let's get back to the hard product. Overall, I really like this interior. It isn't as sleek or modern as the German ICE, for example, but the comfort levels are superb. I should also mention that despite its age, this interior was spotlessly clean.
Mesdames, Messieurs, nous vous souhaitons la bienvenue à bord du TGV 9877 à destination de Marseille-Saint-Charles.
Ladies and gentlemen, our train is about to leave. Please mind the doors.
We left Luxembourg at 7:27 AM, exactly 3 minutes behind schedule. Due to the size of the country, it only takes 20 minutes to get to the French border. This entire section is quite slow and the train doesn't go faster than 100 km an hour. My carriage was pretty empty, giving me even more space. Less than half an hour into the journey, we get to our first stop, which is Thionville in the region of Lorraine. After Thionville, we continue on the slow tracks until we get to the city of Metz. It's here where we switch to France's proper high-speed network. As we are starting to accelerate, let's have a look at some other parts of the train. There are lots of luggage storage racks between the carriages, so you don't have to take your big suitcase into the main cabin. Great idea. In first class, you mustn't talk on the phone, which is why they have these cool couches between the carriages. This being a double-decker train, you have quite a lot to explore. The loo was really spacious and also clean. Heading up the stairs, let's have a look at second class. It's an okay product, but not as good as the German or Spanish competition. The next spot to check out is the restaurant car. The menu wasn't that extensive on this route, but they had some price-worthy combo meals. As it was still early, I went for a brioche and a coffee. The restaurant car didn't have any proper tables, but I could sit on these stools and watch the scenery go by. We were really accelerating now, getting up to 318 km an hour. And that's where the TGV truly shines. The fact that it can actually do its top speed for long stretches. I was having coffee without a care in the world while traveling at Formula 1 speeds. What an amazing machine. The landscapes quite literally flew by, and before long we were approaching Strasbourg. We entered the station with a delay of just 2 minutes at 9 AM. So how much did this journey cost? Well, I only paid €22.50 for my first class ticket. Now, it is crucial to mention that this is not a normal price. I got an amazing last minute deal because I booked this literally the night before leaving. The standard fare would be around €35. The SNCF has a pretty complicated dynamic pricing system. The fares actually increase depending on how full the train is, regardless of when you book. It is also important to know that if you travel to or from Paris, TGV tickets can get ridiculously expensive. A few years ago I paid €80 for a 2-hour journey from Luxembourg to Paris in second class, which I think is way too much. So, is the TGV a good way to travel across France? In general, the TGV is by far the fastest way to travel between cities, but prices vary significantly depending on various factors. It is also important to know that France recently banned domestic flights if there is a TGV connection of less than 2.5 hours. As a result of this law, you cannot fly between Paris and Strasbourg, for example. It is certainly positive for the environment, but it also means that the TGV has virtually no competition on many routes. As we are walking through the UNESCO World Heritage neighborhood of Strasbourg, a city that's located right on the border with Germany, let's compare the TGV and its German counterpart, the ICE. I recently made a video about the ICE, so you can go check that out as well. And here's my take. The ICE has a better hard product, but it's not as fast and way less punctual. I wasn't able to find any official figures for the TGV's punctuality, but French media outlets claim that between 89 and 93% of TGV trains are on time. These figures might not be 100% accurate, but they are numbers that the Deutsche Bahn can only dream of. To conclude, both are fantastic trains, and I think that the decision ultimately boils down to the ticket price. If you get a good deal, traveling by a high-speed train is the best way to get across France or Germany for that matter. And that's it. Now I would love to know, what is your opinion on the TGV? Let me know your stories in the comments down below. As always, thanks very much for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.